Hello, welcome to the Lab 1 walkthrough. Before I get started with showing you Lab 1, I just want to introduce you to this Nystrom Desk Atlas. Some of you may have already taken a look at it, but the Atlas is something we'll be using every once in a while. If I do assign something very specific from the Atlas, I might refer to the chapter or page number that you'll need, and if you go to this page, you'll be able to find, right, if we're doing something in the United States and you need a specific page number, you can just go ahead and click on that PDF. Some of these PDFs are a little bit larger, so they may take some time to load. Just be patient. If you have faster or slower internet speed, that'll determine your wait time. There it is. Okay, so right now we're looking at page number 74. If I do have you look at a specific page number, that's great. Sometimes you'll be looking for things on your own. And when you're looking at the maps, just keep in mind that lines of latitude are the ones that go across the map from left to right. And you should be able to zoom in. Maybe it'll take some time to clear up, maybe it won't, but the lines of latitude and their numbers are usually somewhere along the lines of latitude, and then the lines of longitude, the ones that go up and down, you'll find the numbers sometimes along the top, sometimes along the bottom of the page. There's inset maps. So familiarize yourselves with the Atlas so that when we do need it, you'll know where to find it and what to look for. And you can always ask me for help as well. So I'm going to close out the Atlas and go back to the modules page. So when we scroll down, all of labs 1 through 5 and the module 1 discussion are all going to be listed here in module 1. Right now, only lab 1 is open because that's what we're working on. And then you'll see the answer key. When that becomes available, it'll be posted underneath this assignment, and then lab 2 will have its own subheading, and so on. So let's go ahead and take a look at lab 1. So when lab 1 opens up, it'll bring you down to the document, but first I would like you to scroll up and just review this information up here. This is the rubric that's going to apply to all of your labs. So just make sure you read that carefully. Let's focus on this document. So this is a document that you can annotate directly in Canvas, or what you could do is also download the document. It'll download as a PDF. You can fill it out if you have an app or something on your device where you can draw on the lab, on the PDF, fill it out, write your answers in, and save it. You can do that and then upload your completed lab. Or if you want to just annotate it in Canvas, you can. The only problem is after you submit it, I'm not sure if Canvas allows you to go back and look at your old submitted lab or not. So just in case, the first time you do the lab, maybe take screenshots or photographs of your completed lab so that you can go back and refer to it if you need to. After the first submission, if you find that you can go back and look at your completed lab, then you'll know for sure and you won't have to do it next time. You won't have to take pictures and, save it next time. So I'm going to demonstrate as if you are annotating in Canvas. So I'm going to expand this so it's full screen. So in the full screen, you'll see all your annotation tools along the top. It'll show you the number of pages, and you can minimize the screen if you need to, or zoom in and out as needed. So for lab 1, you're going to be dealing with the geographic grid and the time zones. Hopefully you've already reviewed the lecture videos, so I'm just going to kind of walk you through what you need to complete in the lab. So for this For number 1, you're going to be plotting coordinates. Point A is provided as an example for you. You're going to complete B, C, and D. For this, you can use this little pinpoint annotation. So if, let's say, I'm going to make up a point here. I'm not going to actually give you the answer, but say I wanted to do 0, 0, right? 0 latitude, 0 longitude. I can bring the pinpoint over to 0, 0 and click to leave it there. And then after I leave it, I can choose to leave a comment. So if this was my point B, you would write point B. I'm just going to put sample point, and so we know that this is the sample. But when you do it, you'll put point B for point B, point C, point D, etc. On the next page, I have pinpointed, I can go back to the arrow, I've pinpointed locations on the map. F is provided here as a sample. You're going to identify point G, H, and I to the best of your ability. Try to estimate as close to, within 2 or 3 degrees latitude and 2 or 3 degrees longitude as close as possible. If you get within 2 or 3 degrees of the pinpoints of the center of the X, you will get correct credit for that. Number 3, there's something wrong with each of these. Figure out what it is. And then for these text boxes, for both G, H, and I, and number 3, you can click on this little free text annotation, bring it down into the box, and start typing. And then once you're done, you can hit enter and the box stays. So that's how you're going to fill in these red boxes if you're using Canvas annotation. Here is where you are going to use the atlas. So here it tells you what pages to use, so 50 through 59 for this. So just be aware of the page numbers so that you're able to answer the questions without too much trouble. Also for this one, as you're looking at the atlas and the maps that are on the pages provided, you're going to look for information on the map that tells you about climate or elevation, etc. So, for example, I'm going to, hold on, there we go. Okay, so here's the page 55 map, for example, and one of the questions asked for climate for a specific latitude and longitude. So you're going to locate that latitude and longitude by, again, looking at the latitude numbers on along the lines that go east-west. So for the first one, for example, it said 30 north. So we know this is 20 north. That's 40 north. So we can estimate 30 north is going to be, or did I say that right? 20 and 40? Yeah. So 30 is going to be somewhere in the middle. So it's going to be somewhere along this line of latitude. And then longitude is going to be 90. So there's 80, there's 100, so 90 is going to be somewhere in the middle. So it's going to put you probably somewhere around here in the US. So for climate, you're going to look at the key or the legend, look for the right color that matches this, and that's going to be your answer for the map identification questions. Okay, coming back to the lab, part 2 is going to be time zones. You are going to be using the time zone map that was shown in the lecture videos, and the time zone map I've provided in Canvas. So make sure you're looking at the time zone map to answer these questions. Don't use a regular map. Don't use any old map in your atlas. It has to be a time zone map. Review the lecture again if you need to know what the different elements of the time zone map are, and you're going to use those elements to help you determine central meridians for these locations. And then after that, you are going to be actually calculating time zones. So samples are provided here, kind of step-by-step instructions, And then the actual questions will resume here with number 8 and 9. When you are asked to show your calculations, do so in the box. So there's plenty of space here. You can, I'm going to use the typing tool. So for number 8, right, for the work, specify it's for number 8. And then you can type out, or if you have like a stylus or something, you can do the math by hand, by free draw. I don't have a good stylus with me, but I'm just gonna do a quick like 2 plus, I'm really bad at this. You get the idea. You can draw it in. 2 plus 2 equals 4 if that was the math I was showing. Again, I don't have stylus, so I'm not going to continue, but you can hit the check mark when you're done, and that'll leave it there. Or you can, again, you can type it in if you want. You can change the color of your fonts up here, or yeah, font color up here if you want to, but make sure you show all your work for numbers 8 and number 9 step by step. I want to see every step. If not every step is shown, then you're not going to get full credit. And time zone calculations continues through the end of the lab. Once you're done with the lab, I'm going to minimize this and exit full screen. So once you're done with the lab, go ahead and hit submit assignment, and then you'll be done. And I will see that submission. You can only attempt the lab once. Once it's submitted, I leave the submissions open. I say unlimited in case you accidentally submit the lab without completing it, so that you can go back and kind of redo it. But once the lab is graded, you cannot redo the lab for more points or add more things to the lab or fix it for more points. Once you've submitted the final version of your lab, that's the one that gets graded, and that's the one it's done. So no multiple submissions for better grades. Only multiple submissions if you accidentally only finished half and submitted it before you were done. But make sure you resubmit before the deadline or the due date. Okay? If you have questions while you're working on the lab, again, feel free to contact me via the Canvas inbox. Come during my in-person office hours if you're on campus, or we can schedule in-person office hours or a Zoom. We also have a GA for this course who will also be grading your labs, and they are available to answer questions as well. So I will provide you with the GA's name and contact information in this week's announcements. So look out for that. All right, that's it. Have a great week.